We live.
Rolling.
All right,
We're back.
live and direct right here at the Nightlife
So
Entrepreneur Podcast at the downtown Black Market with Shane Vernon. What's going on, my brother?
Hell
How are
yeah.
you?
What's up, guys? Thank you for having me.
Black Market. Black Market, and also from
The Red
Rabbit Presents.
Red
Rabbit
Rabbit
Presents.
Presents.
That is the mothership that thinks about everything.
Yeah.
That spits it all out.
All right, we start every episode with telling our audience our handles. You guys can find me at the Nightlife Entrepreneur on Instagram and at LMG Miami. You can find all our parties.
Yeah, you can find me at Ico Taps Beer and at Doral Food and Wine Festival. Tickets go on sale this Friday. Pre-sale tickets this Friday. Go get your tickets. I'm telling you, we're giving you a good deal.
Sounds like a good deal.
What about you? What are
You can follow us at Black Market MIA for everything Black Market related, and then Red Rabbit Miami for everything Red Rabbit related.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
get that rabbit.
Not your personal one? You want to give that out?
S.RR.
There you go. Sure.
So man, hey, thank you for having us. We want to show our viewers and our listeners, we're an educational program, so we want to educate, and we want them to know and find out what it is, and
entertain a little bit too.
Yeah, entertain. Thank you to Cusqueña. How did you get into this business, and how long ago did you start?
Actually, what are you, first of all?
Yeah.
What exactly?
Yeah, what is?
That's a problem I have all the time. People ask me, so what do you do? And I get confused.
Yeah.
What is it that you do? So many things.
I think I think there's the promoter connotation, which you guys have probably seen throughout your journeys with interviewing all these nightlife personas.
For sure.
My business partner Eric always has something great. He always says we're gonna be promoters forever, so the day we die.
Right.
Promoters.
Right.
We're gonna be promoting whatever it is we're doing.
Right. That's probably the first slash in all your different.
Exactly. So it's not like we still call ourselves promoters, but we're not drinking comp vodka on top of the couch with the models. You know what I mean? Sure, we did that when we were young, but there has to be an evolution in it. In anything you do. Sure. So I could say I'm a promoter. We're promoters. But we're also owners. We own the venue now. But we're still promoting the venue. I'm here promoting with you guys, so we'll always be promoters.
Exactly.
But
for sure.
But now I guess the title has gone to venue owner.
Right.
Owners. Me and my partner.
So we could say from promoters to venue owners.
Yeah. We did that.
Which we've covered that a couple of times.
Yeah, that is actually what my book is about. It's exactly about that. That's
about how
that
do you
journey.
go from being a promoter to a
club owner.
venue
and the
owner,
and the
only something else.
The interesting thing about our trajectory was being a venue owner was never the ultimate goal.
Okay.
It wasn't like we were promoting, doing these clubs and parties, and with the mindset that one day we're gonna own our own spot. It was never that. Which
is the beauty of it.
Yeah, it kind of even crazier. So the whole story starts 8 years ago. I was living in LA for a while, my first job out of college. I quit that job because I wanted to move home and start my own brand in the nightlife realm.
Okay.
I was very much inspired by Insomniac on the West Coast, EDC, and all these festivals that I got to go to back in 2011 or 2010 when I was living there. And what I saw the showmanship that was shown on the West Coast when it came to the electronic music scene and the parties, I really didn't see in Miami. We always had Ultra, but Ultra to me was always biggest stages, best sound, best lights, biggest DJs.
Right.
It was like just the deepest checkbook.
Right.
Their state of the art, everything, their sound, their staging is second to none, best lineup. But after living in LA and going to these Insomniac festivals, I saw the attention that was paid to the other stuff, the details, the immersive things.
And smaller venues.
They're still doing. I mean, EDC Vegas. Yeah, EDC Vegas is doing 400,000 people.
Right.
Way more than Ultra.
Right.
It's also been around a lot longer than Ultra. Insomniac has, but I think it was just that West Coast rave scene and that energy that really got my pistons firing, and I wanted to start my own gig. So I quit my job in LA and I moved home.
So why not over there?
Yeah.
Just I'm born and raised here in Miami. I moved out there with a job that I started working here. Moved me to LA. I lived in LA for a year, and then that's when I realized, I want to do my own thing. I wanted to get out. Didn't really have a plan.
So you went to high school and everything here. So
I even graduated from UM. I graduated from University of Miami.
So when you visioned it, you already were like, man, I could do this, but I could do it in Miami.
Yeah. To be honest, all I really had was I didn't even have a name. I didn't have a partner. I just had myself, and I said I want to create this brand in this sector. I'll never forget. I was at one of these Insomniac festivals, and I'm sitting there in the middle of the main stage, and I'm looking around, and I had this revelation of sorts where it was like, man, like you love this. Like this is what you love. Like I'm not a DJ. I never pretended to be a DJ. Okay. I always knew that wasn't me. But I was, hey, how could you create something, make a living, build something within this scene that doesn't have to do with being a DJ?
Right.
Like for me, back in Miami, one of my best friends from childhood was a DJ. Really, very talented, still is a DJ. Very talented producer, and he had a job here in Miami that he wasn't really into. He wanted to get his career going. He was like, and he knew I was unhappy out there. He's like, man, come home, try to throw your festival. That was my thing. I'm gonna throw a festival. Right. That was what I put in my head. Come throw your festival, manage me, you're like, all right, fine, I'm gonna do this. So I quit my job. Move home. My parents were not happy with me. I was fresh out of college.
Chapter 1, by the way.
Yeah, they were happy with me. Like I had found myself in a good situation out west with a good job, like plenty of room to grow. Wow. Great boss who's still a mentor to me to this day. So I get home. It's day one. I don't know anything about throwing a music festival. Right. Mind you, the job I was leaving was in production. I went to film school. Okay. So I was behind the
great.
Yeah, I was behind. Yeah,
behind the scenes.
So you like the whole scene.
But I was behind the camera. Yeah, I was like more on the artsy side, and I was like, okay, like I'm gonna go try to start a business, and that wasn't really my thing. So it was my first day back. I didn't know the first thing about throwing a festival, but I got my friend Mike, the DJ, to make me a demo, make me a mix. And I'd been gone for a year, so I didn't even really know like the guys
what he was doing,
or in Nightlife. No, the guys in Nightlife, like who am I gonna call? I've been gone for so long, and it's such a revolving door of personalities. And
so how do you end up meeting up with who ends up being today your partner? Right.
So it's at day one. I have a demo in my hand. The only person I know working in South Beach Nightlife is Eric Paso. At the time, an acquaintance, nothing more than an acquaintance. I didn't even have his phone number, but he's from Key Biscayne, where I'm from. He was younger than me.
Key Biscayne?
Yeah, my other partner Mike is from Key Biscayne as well. So he was the only person I knew, and funny enough, every time I would visit, it was like it was all meant to be. Because every time I would visit home from LA, I'd be out at the club or whatever, any random club, and I would run into this guy who I knew as an acquaintance from growing up, but he was running the show in the club. Right. And he would always, who are you with? Invite me to his table, like making sure he was just over the top hospitable. Right. So I always remember that. So when I got back, I'm like, I asked a mutual friend, like someone, I said, hey, let me get his phone number. I called him. Told him, hey man, I got this demo, whatever. He said, yeah, meet me tomorrow for a coffee. We met right across the street from where we're sitting right now
we're in downtown Miami, by the way.
Yeah, Fratelli Milano. We met for a coffee, and it turned into a 4-hour sit down. Literally, we sat at this table for like 4 strangers.
So he didn't have a partner at the time. He was doing this solo.
He was doing solo promoter. Okay. And again, as the stars would have it, that day we were meeting there at Fratelli Milano because he was putting down the first 3 months on Office Space.
Okay, so he was taking this seriously.
Very seriously. He had actually, just before I got here, I'd come back from Brazil, because he's from Brazil, but he was taking artists to Brazil. He did a Lil Jon show in Brazil, Lloyd Banks, Montel Jordan.
He was starting to produce.
He was producing shows. And the same thing, you know what I mean? I was on the same...
So that teaches you 2 things right away. On Eric's side, the fact that you gotta always take care of your people. Yeah. And you never know who you're gonna be taking care of. That's one. And number 2, from your side, is you gotta keep your eyes open. Like there's a lot of people that are doing this solo or that wanna join and get in this. And we always say, do this in a partnership, do this together. There's always gonna be, if you really want a future, even though this guy wasn't thinking of owning his own place back then, maybe thinking of producing a big event and all that, still together is always better.
And that's good that you kept in touch. You kept seizing the moment. I guess.
Yeah. And you know what I think the core of our relationship and why it's so strong was, like I said, we weren't friends that went into business with each other.
Right.
We weren't that. We were strangers that went into business with each other, and then we learned, then we became brothers, obviously, through the years. I mean, there's no one in the world closer to me.
Right.
But yeah, it was that first day, so he was like, hey man, I'm putting down this 3 months, I don't have a partner, like, you know, like, I don't need any money, like, you know, I got a desk and a chair for you. If, you know, we just figure out what's up. I mean, I'm here day one back from LA.
Wow.
Like,
Right.
yeah, starting this thing blind. I'm like, man, this is a good lead as any.
Hell yeah.
Like, you know, so.
That's a sign, bro, that right away.
Yeah.
So the next day we were in the office with our shirts off, painting the walls. Getting to know each other, getting to know what we wanted to do, you know, figuring it out. And it was literal.
Girls listening, they don't need to picture the whole no shirt, painting the walls kind of,
Yeah.
Probably better. I looked a lot better back then.
So, all right, so that's how, is that where Red Rabbit?
Yeah. Is that
Red
what
Rabbit,
Red Rabbit presents?
and then our third partner was, because that was in January of 2011. He was finishing up his last semester in college.
Okay.
And funny enough, how our third partner came into the fold, we had gotten Mike Russ, the DJ, who I had moved home for. You know, we Red Rabbit started to manage him, like, you know, manage his career, and we got him an opening gig at a Steve Aoki show in Gainesville.
So Red Rabbit started also managing
our
DJs?
managing DJs.
And where did the Red Rabbit come out of? Yeah, it's funny. You keep talking about Red Rabbit. You're like glowing in red right now. I'm like, he's like living his brand. I don't know if it shows red right there, but
when you think of car insurance, what do you think of?
Geico.
Why?
The gecko.
The little gecko. Okay.
Right.
You guys nailed it. It's a color and an animal. It has nothing to do with anything. If you saw just the logo on the wall with no text, it's a Red Rabbit.
Right.
Got it.
So it was just on a branding, branding mindset.
Right.
Like the logo was, we always saw the logo as the side profile of the rabbit.
Right.
Shout out to Jason Eskenazi, our graphic designer who designed the logo. Yeah, really dope. And yeah, that's always the question we get. You know, Red Rabbit, what is it? You know. But I wish I had a more exciting answer. But it was really from a branding perspective.
So what takes you from 2 to 3 partners? Which, by the way, I love the number 3. Always in partnerships.
That's the number 3.
You know, and besides the number itself and the power of the numbers and what number 3.
Everything goes to a vote.
The voting part. The voting part is
100%.
You know, there's always that for sure.
And that's important.
And we live by it. The 3 of us live by it. Live and die by it. Like, it doesn't matter if you're the 1 against 2. It doesn't matter how stern you are in your position.
Right. We only had for us when there was 3 of us. We only had like certain things that we decided later in life that we wanted to be like 100% of the vote had to go yes for those things to happen. Like most of the decisions, like the daily decisions, were a vote thing. You know, 2 votes. That's it. You know, but some of the things, like starting a new venue, for example, for us was like it has to be unanimous because we always realized that 3rd vote that said no, 6 months later was gonna say, "I told you so." So you know, there was a little to that, but yeah, I love the fact that you guys.
And how did the 3rd partner come in?
So
you guys started managing.
No. So we went to Gainesville for our DJ's gig, opening for Steve Aoki, and our third partner's also name is Mike. So the DJ and the partner's name is Mike. So it gets a little confusing. But
so Mike
he was in the last semester at University of Florida, and he came to the show. He also grew up on Key Biscayne, like I said, you know. So again, he was an acquaintance. I've known him my whole life.
Right.
Came to the show. He saw, you know, the energy. Everything was there. You know, there's a lot of Miami kids that went to school in Gainesville at the time. So a lot of support for Red Rabbit. People wearing Red Rabbit shirts, and you know.
How many people came out?
Oh, it was a Steve Aoki show, so they sold it out. Yeah. Okay. So when we got back to Miami, that spring break, Mike, who was at school at the time, calls Eric and I, and he's like, "Hey, that show was amazing in Gainesville. Everything's great. I'd love to come in and talk to you guys."
Okay.
I'm like, all right, sure, come on in. At the time, Eric and I had already been developing a festival concept because that was, what we were going to jump into. Mike came on his spring break, came and sat with us, and he came with and this is how you'll see the 3 mindsets and the 3 roles. He comes with this it wasn't a brochure, it was a packet with infographics and demo breakdowns of like our whole industry. Nightlife, electronic music specifically at the time, like where it was, a bunch of numbers.
He did his homework.
This is who he is.
Oh, okay.
Right.
And this is what we needed, and what you always need in the group. So he comes in, he gives us this whole spiel. I mean, and then at the end of it, we're like, hey, like, we can't pay you. You know what I mean? We don't have any money, but you know how to make a business plan. So yeah, of course I know how to make a business plan. That's what I'm in school for. Like, all right, well, make a business plan for this music festival. You're an equal partner.
Right.
Like that'll be your thing. And he jumped at it. And he came in, and from the festival obviously never happened.
Right.
But from him coming in then and working on that, his skill set was able to find itself in other areas, that we needed.
Hey, so that festival never happened? The one that you guys were like,
nah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was going to be at the Miami Aquarium.
Oh, you have no idea how many festivals don't happen.
Yeah.
How many ideas don't happen or end up happening through somebody else.
I'm in year 3 and I'm like, you gotta have stamina.
I have the Volleypalooza, a proposal for the Volleypalooza from the year like 1994 in a floppy disk.
Oh yeah.
So you get an idea of like.
Yeah, it's funny. Today I was mentioning to my wife, we're going into a meeting. I said, I'm telling you, this food and wine festival thing, you have to have stamina first. Not anyone could just do a festival. It's crazy, and especially when it just like grows, so fast,
Right.
So,
but we were young too, man. I was 24 at the time. Eric and Mike were 23. Like, we were really young. Like, we still, while we were more forward thinking as far as like legitimizing ourselves, like it's like doing away from the individual promoter in like Miami Beach nightlife, creating a brand,
Right.
Building that brand out within the nightlife spectrum. We were definitely ahead, you know what I mean, of our time, like for our age group. A lot of guys our age were just like doing the promoter thing.
Right.
You know,
said, the model table.
But with that said, the time and place of it all provided a lot of access. You know what I mean. We threw like amazing parties, they were incredible. But we
remember what was the first venue where you worked at as a company as Red Rap?
Grand Central.
Okay.
We did our launch party.
Nice.
We did our launch party at Grand Central.
Great venue, great
amazing.
sound.
One of
Shout
my
out
favorite
to everyone.
venues of all time. Really good friend. Like still from then to now. I mean, if I was gonna say friends, we met along the way in the industry. Jake and Aramis at Pop Life are just top-notch guys. We've done business with them throughout our 8 years. But we did Grand Central. It went awesome. Like it really popped off. People were receptive. Again, it was very much a time and place kind of thing. That was January 2011. 2011 is the year that Dave Grutman took over the bookings at Live, and Live went off the hinges with the booking the world-class DJ.
Electronic music.
I think that was the same year Dave got in the top 20 Rolling Stones most influential people in EDM.
Yes.
So that was them doing it on the Live level, and we were existing
like underground.
Underground, but not necessarily like underground. You're underground, like underground music, techno, deep house. No, like back then the mainstream was underground.
Exactly.
Like what we see as mainstream now was underground back then. Like as cheesy the David Guettas and like Tiesto, like those, like people didn't know yet.
Right.
It was still a secret, the whole thing.
Right.
Like marginally a secret, comparatively to where it is now.
Same thing with that music, and in our genre, for us, our parties that today have become all reggaeton, for example.
Everybody
for Spanish community,
Music is cyclical.
We used to have J Balvin and Maluma on our stage at the club.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Nowadays, it's possible.
We offered J even like it was a year and a half, 2 years ago. We offered J Balvin $30,000 to come do 3 songs over playback.
Right.
No band, no night. Just plug in a mic, just talk over the playing song. $30,000 for 3 tracks. He said, nah.
No, thank you. Right.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and we would fly him in, put him up. Like he comes in for the day, the night.
Next time, call Fede.
Your boys with J Balvin?
He's with a guitar. He'll do it for half of the price.
So with what's going on with EDM nowadays? Like what's
Oh man.
So this is but hold on.
Besides Live
just
here
for
in
the
Miami,
listeners, this is how you got into the whole club, like promoting. You started promoting these parties.
Yeah, we started doing these parties. So like I said, our first party was at Grand Central. From there, it was my partner Eric's birthday, so we wanted to do like a big bash for his birthday.
Okay.
A buddy of mine, his family used to own this just beautiful mansion, like on the ocean on Key Biscayne.
Okay.
Beautiful. And so there you're like, oh, like let's do a pool party at, you know what I mean, at the crib.
Woo.
Sounds great. My dad was the mayor of Key Biscayne at the time.
Okay.
So I'm just like, yo, guys, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is...
You gotta chill.
This sounds crazy.
I don't know,
We ended up doing an open bar. We sold tickets, $30 tickets. Ladies and free. Guys paid $30. It was open bar. We had cake.
Great formula so far.
Security. And we took it to a point where we had 6 cop cars parked outside across the street the whole day to make sure neighbors didn't bother with the traffic on the street and all that stuff. So we do this pool party, and it was amazing.
You're talking about how many people? That kind of event?
In the back of a house, almost 1,000 people, like 800 people, you know, behind a house, like.
The good old days.
Yeah, no, it was insane, and so that went amazing, and from there, which I won't call it our big break. I don't think we've had our big break yet, but the biggest break up until that point, people started hearing about that mansion pool party on Key Biscayne. Like, our name got out there because of that. We printed a huge, like 6 foot by 6 foot nylon Red Rabbit banner and hung it from the 2nd floor balcony facing the ocean. So like as boats went by that day, like everybody saw the rabbit and you know everybody saw it.
So that's where Bad Bunny gets his name.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So because of the notoriety that came from that party, we got a call from Club 50, which at the time was still called Club 50, numerically 50.
Right, before the W came in.
For their pool, and they were like, hey, you know, we heard...
based on that party?
Yeah. You know, we heard about this party, like they were looking for promoters.
Upscale pool party, that's what they want up there.
And at the time, but even, you're talking about 2011, they wanted anything.
Right, anybody not here, not from Miami that's listening, you know, the venue he's mentioning, Club 50 was on the 50th floor in
a pool party.
downtown Brickell here in Miami. You know, one of the nicest venues, best views ever.
Amazing.
We were there for like 3 years also.
Yeah.
That's a great venue for a pool party.
It was amazing. So we started a pool party series called Get Wet, Get Wild. And man, that was like, you talk about the prime of this whole... You have Live going off again, like 2011, and then we're doing these like rooftop pool parties, 50 floors up, super localized, you know, because we're all born and raised here, so our following and you know everybody was super localized.
Right.
So it was, I mean, it was an energy that like couldn't be replicated. It was it's so time and place, you know. It's just not the same anymore. But from there, those parties really took us off, man, and. We've worked at every venue.
Another thing you mentioned that was interesting was when
as
you
promoters,
said
you guys started getting called
everywhere.
That third partner, when he joined in, the fact that he did something you guys saw that you needed, and you offered him equal partnership. A lot of people don't get, you know, where they want because of greediness.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of that. Like people will be like, "This is my idea. This is what I want to do. I'll pay you, but I won't share this with you." And in the end, and honestly, you want to grow. That's the best way. Honestly, share.
Why did you guys make that decision? Like for those listeners out there.
That day because we didn't have any money. Zero, nothing. So it was either you come in and partner with his business plan, or we're not gonna get it. You know what I mean? Like this is the cheapest we're gonna get the business plan for up front. You know what I mean? And it just brings on another set of hands. You know, even if we were to have executed that festival, like Eric and I couldn't have done it by ourselves. We would have needed a third hand anyway. Right. You know, so it was.
Hey, so from that day on, it's been the three of you, right? Okay, now tell us when was the moment that you guys jumped, or you know, you found yourself in this world where you went from a promoting company or a production company to ownership.
And how many years were you doing the promoting?
Okay, so I always say that in the Miami nightlife hierarchy, there's two levels. there's traditionally
Right.
2 levels. There's owners and there's everybody else, right?
Right.
What separates owners from everybody else is real estate.
Right.
You know, your control on the real estate.
Right.
I believe before Black Market, you know, when we were still in the meat and potatoes of our actual club promoting lives, Red Rabbit created a 3rd tier that we sat alone at, in between owners and everybody else. Because we were getting the club deals, but we were also getting the hotel deals. We did Miami Music Week at the Shelburne 3 straight years.
Right.
We were booking the big name talent on the pool parties while we were doing weekly parties at Mansion. We started Bass at Space, which we brought trap music to the downstairs of Space. That party still, like when I go to the West Coast and people see Red Rabbit, they bring up Bass at Space, like, you know, those.
You started doing parties at West Coast as well?
No, we haven't been to the West Coast. We've been to Colombia. We've gone to Brazil. And when I say we, it's more the DJ, our DJ going to play, and you know, he carries the brand with him. Netherlands, Amsterdam.
Right. So you guys are exactly what I call a nightlife entrepreneur.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's where the whole term comes from. Honestly, the fact that, you know, like I said at the beginning of our talk, when people ask me what do you do, you know, I'm like, yes, I am a promoter. I'll always be a promoter. I have owned over 10 venues here in Miami and in Colombia. We've owned a couple also. But we are always going to be promoters. We're always going to be doing that. We've produced events. We've produced concerts. You know what I mean? And now we're teaching. We're doing the podcast. We're doing all these things. Anything that has to do with the nightlife that in some way becomes a business, we're in.
You're in.
Most likely. Or, you know what I mean? As long as it's legal.
Your entrepreneurship kicks in, right?
But for sure, you know, from what I mean, you guys did great for sure, because this is an amazing venue, by the way, here in downtown.
Yes.
You guys got to check it out. What's the address?
168 Southeast 1st Street.
There you go.
Yep. Check it out.
On the corner.
Black Market
Come up
Miami.
on your lift.
It's amazing, and besides this venue down here, they're about to open another one from what I hear.
Right. Yes. So the big picture of this always was the upstairs space as well. We have a bigger space, actually, square footage wise, than down here. It's funny how it all came to fruition. So 8 years ago when we started, like I said, we opened up our first office right across the street from here on Southeast 1st Street.
Right.
Since then, we've occupied 4 different offices, all on Southeast 1st Street.
Okay.
2 there, 1 right next door, 1 at the end.
We've always been.
And
right
8 years of my life, I walked by this place, I never stepped foot inside.
Oh wow.
Every day.
Used to be a Peruvian.
It used to be a Peruvian restaurant. Before even knowing it, that was only the last 3 years. When we first came into downtown, it was closed. It was formerly a Italian joint downstairs, a lounge upstairs, and that lounge was owned by Aramis, Lori from Pop Life, Grand Central. It's all very full circle. So yeah, we walked by this space, again, like I said, for years and years and years. It wasn't until one day, it was actually Eric's father, came into the office, say, "Hey, you guys, I got something I got to show you guys." We were in like a weird funk, trying to figure out, you know, what that evolution is going to be. You know, we knew we were tired of the clubs, tired of working for owners, or like, you know, tired. As much freedom as, you know, we were given, it always felt like there was a glass plate being held over our head. You know what I mean? They just hold you there, and you want to stretch for more, you want to do more, but they keep you where they can control you. So we said, "You guys are gonna come see this?" We're like, "Nah," you know, we kind of blew them off, whatever. Comes the next day, like literally the day after, "You guys gonna see this?" And we're like, "Nah," you know, and mind you, we're down the street. We're like 30 yards away. We're just being assholes about it.
Right.
Until he comes in and he's like, "All right, well, I'm not asking you guys anymore. I'm telling you, get your ass up and come look at this." So we're like, "All right, man, you know."
This is Eric's dad.
This is Eric's father, yeah. So
Is it real estate?
Yeah.
no. He's been in downtown for 25 years. He used to own electronic stores here, and first generation hustler, Eric, second generation hustler, and that's how this whole ship.
So it was just a feeling he had.
Yeah,
you guys had to come check it out.
So we go upstairs, and we walk in, and we're like, "Holy shit! Like, this is a built-out venue. Like, the bars were done, the bathrooms were done, the heavy lifting and the high costs were all done.
Right.
Because 7 years prior it was an operating venue. It's just been closed up there, and the Peruvian restaurant had it in their lease, and they just weren't doing anything with it.
Right.
So they knew who we were, on the street. So they, invited us to come take a look. Offered us a clean slate, whatever we wanted to do up there, you know. As the conversations got more in depth, they put out the option of us taking over the downstairs as well.
Okay.
And funny enough, for 2 years prior to that, we were sitting on Black Market Miami, a sports bar in Miami dedicated to 80s Miami. So if you look around our decor, it's all the 80s Canes, Merino, mixed with the Cocaine Cowboy stuff.
Got it.
So Black Market, that's where the Black Market.
That era we all miss.
Yeah, you know. So it was really. I had gone to New York, and you know, you see these like Bounce, and you see these sports bars that are so like built for the city, like they're like the local sports bar, and you know, Miami doesn't have it. They didn't have it till us.
Right.
You know, you have Flanagan's, Hooters, Duffy's. I mean, the chains go on and on.
Right.
You know, but there wasn't like that spot, that nice sports bar that encapsulates the city that it's in.
Right.
So we were sitting on that for a while, but again, like I told you, we were never actively looking to open a place. We just knew the vacancy, how big it was, and we had the concept in the back pocket.
So these two venues are your first as owners,
as running the whole thing.
And you guys, none of you three were ever
owners, no,
or thinking of owning anything. So
no, I mean, yeah, maybe each one of us had different, you know, like. I don't know, you know, but it was never a vocalized, like, let's find a spot, let's, you know. I mean, mind you, through the 8 years, like, opportunities popped up all the time, you know, like, whether it be an owner with money inviting us in on a small piece, like, you know, like, or stuff like that, but...
It's usually not a good sign.
Yeah, you know, so, oh no, we were, Red Rabbit was 911 for 8 years. Yeah. Whenever a venue was in trouble, they hit 911 and called us, and we fixed it.
Yeah, we joined a couple of those. You know, regret it for sure, but it was a learning, you know, experience for sure.
Oh, everything is.
So promoting, you guys were promoters for like, promoting your DJ and everything in the clubs for like what, like 8 years? 8 years. And then this happened.
7, and then this happened.
And then this happened, and you guys went, you know what, let's go all in.
Yeah, you know, we saw, like, again, right when they were in the previous.
Saw the opportunity.
Yeah, it was, you know, because right when the previous tenant had said, you know, this downstairs is a possibility. Like, we literally looked at each other like, wow, we didn't have to say anything. Like, we knew Black Market, you know. It was, and not only
all
that,
3 partners get that same feeling.
Yeah,
in their gut.
And further than that, if it was on Flagler, I might have been skeptical. Okay. But it was on Southeast First, where we've been on for 8 years. 4 offices with the address Southeast First. It's like, I can't slap fate in the face. Like, this would be just disrespectful.
Right. No, I love the fact that you guys take signs seriously.
This whole thing has been like crazy. I mean, we're just touching on like the PowerPoint version of it right now, but when you dig under it, it's insane, man. It's insane.
And you guys serve food here?
Yeah.
Talk to us.
Full kitchen.
Yeah, full kitchen.
Yeah, we were nominated for Best of Miami, Best Bar Food this year with Miami New Times.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we won Best Bar Central Miami. But our food's excellent, man. Now I'm not even saying that. It's really good bar food.
So is Eric's dad a good client?
Eric's dad's a partner.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. And not a like a financial partner. Like right now, he's roll up your sleeve. He's our general contractor. He's our guy that gets us off our ass and gets us to come.
He's definitely an entrepreneur.
He
kept looking for you guys.
He's a monster.
And he knew.
He knows.
He had it in the pocket. He was like, I gotta.
Well, I can tell you this. Here. I know the story of the venue before, and what they made happen here is important. Yeah. Because it's not having the money, because people that were here had the money.
Oh yeah,
it's, you know what I mean, and even the
I know the story why they just couldn't.
It's a lot more than that, and starting with the good vibe, you know, and making sure you're doing good. You're not fucking people.
And I mean, and you're just digging into the business of things. Like when we were going to open this, like our biggest threat was the kitchen. We were petrified of the kitchen.
Yeah.
Like because all the parties we've done, you know, we've worked bars, we've operated bars, you know, a kitchen was something that we'd never seen before. Yeah. And then, you know, as you go through the process and you start opening doors, making sales, you know, generating crowds different nights of the week, and you start getting to get a gauge of numbers, you just want to throw the kitchen in the river.
Right.
And like I hear people like the horror stories of opening up a restaurant, and it's like, like from what I've seen, if you don't have a full liquor license, like if you're not selling alcohol with the food, like man, you got to be a famous chef with a big brand name or
restaurants with no bar here in Miami,
man.
Very, very tough.
It's full bar, right?
That's you need a full bar.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
At the very least, beer and wine, you see a place like Lagniappe. They crush it. Crush it. And they're all beer and wine, you know?
I mean, right now it's 5:30 on a Tuesday,
it's a concept,
and you're starting to get a crowd back there. Drinking.
But it's Tuesday.
Oh, for sure. Oh, no. I mean, alcohol is illegal in the United States.
So what time are you open?
We have a 5 a.m. liquor license. So upstairs will be a later night that goes to 5 a.m. Right now, during the week, Monday to Thursday, we go to about 12, you know. We have our times online, but, you know, if there's people here drinking, we'll stay a couple more, you know. If we're empty an hour before we're supposed to close, we'll start shutting it down, you know?
Talk to us about your concept for upstairs. Are you planning to start, producing concerts with DJs? What we envision
upstairs to be is, like I said, it's going away from the same old club programming, which is Sinful Thursdays, Freaky Fridays, Super Cool Saturdays.
What's the name of upstairs?
The name of upstairs will be called Aftermarket. And it's going to be,
look out for it.
And going away from the format I was just saying, it's going to be a concept event space. So you'll have to check our calendar to see if we're even open or not. You can't just show up here on a Friday or Saturday and assume we're open.
Might not be open.
We might not be open.
What's the capacity upstairs?
We're still getting our legal cap, but 350, you know?
Okay.
Something along that name, 400, and then with downstairs another like 290, you know? Because they do a total occupancy for the upstairs and downstairs. So,
which is a good number that you want.
You prefer that.
To maintain the quality for sure.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Something too big, it gets tough to fill every week.
Exactly. Not everybody is live.
Right. Exactly. But based off and then again, so going back to how we're programming it, so taking that monthly party format instead of the weekly party format, we've gone out, we've gotten DJs, promoters, people in the scene who we've worked with over the years, who we respect what they're doing, we respect their crowd, and we've invited them through to offer them monthly parties. So once a month, they get, so it's the same thing as, these guys doing the weekly parties, but you get more time in between. People don't get stale. It's not trying to bring the same group to the same place every Thursday, which is hard. Like,
you're always thinking. You know what I mean?
And it gives you a month, to prep it, and so it'll allow not only your party doesn't get stale. So every month you have a month to make it hype, make it hot, make something new.
That's exactly the same technique we apply. Not doing the event only venue, but when we've been owners, we've always used that same technique of using outside promoters for sure. The companies that have been our competition,
good ideas,
or the ones that we see that are thriving and all that kind of thing, for sure. Trying to make them as different as possible, one night from the other, for that same.
And even for us, it's probably tough, like something to get accustomed to on switching from the solely promoter to the owner is understanding that concept. So you think you can do it all by yourself.
Right.
Like, wait, I'm the promoter. I don't need a promoter. Like, we've been promoting for 8 years. Like,
what? One of the things that's great, or at least for us, has been, is when we are owners and we are doing any kind of contract with a promoter, they love the fact that we understand exactly where they're coming from.
Oh, that's the same. Everybody we brought up here, they're like, they know us. We've had the talks outside of the club that we were both working at. We were bitching about this.
It's like,
we're bitching about that. It's like, it's nothing's gonna be like that anymore here.
Right.
It's just like carte blanche, like your creative spectrum, like, because we know the struggle, we know how it goes, so we're gonna do exactly the opposite.
Exactly.
Hey, what would you tell that promoter who's thinking about getting out of the business? Is it something? What would you say is it that you follow your signs, your intuition? How is it luck? Like,
man, the harder you work, the luckier you get. That's for sure.
For sure.
That's for sure. So I don't want to say I don't believe in luck, because you know what I mean. It's like, what's the difference between luck and fate? And you know what I mean. There's blurred lines there. But the only advice, I guess, the best advice I could give, and it's been hard for me to learn it myself, is patience. Really is, man. It's tough.
Which, by the way, patience means in 8 years you'll own your own place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, honestly.
Yeah, of course.
That is what it is. It's about the same. In our story, it was about the same time when we started, and it works. It works out. Number one, because mostly you will probably start at that age where they started. By the age that they are now, they're
really
mature enough.
understand.
They understand the business enough.
For sure.
More sides of the business than most, especially one side of the business, that's the marketing, that a lot of people do not understand and think marketing, yeah, sure, put $1,000 on that. That kind of thing.
And especially and now
They spend the money in all the little details,
Yes.
but they forget about how am I gonna pack this place? How am I gonna make this the number
keeping
one?
it fresh.
How am I gonna win that food contest? How am I gonna get me on the
That's
newspaper
important.
and all those things that a lot of people forget about.
For sure. No, it's a huge part of it. Also, besides the harder work you get, I tell myself every day, I forget what celebrity it was. I think it was Kevin Hart. He said it took me 10 years to blow up overnight.
I love it. That's awesome.
And I repeat that to myself every day. Yeah. Like, it took me 10 years to blow up overnight.
It is true. And I'm going to tell you one thing also from my experience. We have also been up there owning our own place or places at one point, and just one day it just all went to shit. But you know what? The next day we got up and just kept on. We went back to promoting, we went back to that, and we went back to owning another one, and then another one. And we are in a position nowadays that we have different options. We are working on different things to open up right now. I mean, but it means that like it's always going to be up and down.
100%.
Up and down.
Oh, that's how that is the trajectory.
Exactly.
And that's how it is in everything.
Not always good.
Everything.
It's not always good in everything. But in this business, a lot of people think, oh, I had a bad day or a bad year. Let me get out of this. I'm done. Let me be a realtor.
I mean, we.
411 Pain.
Are you planning to
I'll
open
tell
up
you all the
somewhere else?
places.
No, right now, it's one step at a time, one foot in front of the other.
Right.
What I will comment on, what you were saying there, if I will say something about my team and Red Rabbit, is resilience. It's like what you said.
Exactly.
I mean, we've had like our biggest flops, like our
that's the only way you're gonna grow.
About crazy flops, like parties, and we're at the back of the party, while the flop is going on in our face, and it's like Monday morning, Monday morning. What went wrong?
Right.
What, you know what I mean? Like it's perseverance. It's a competitive thing too. You really got to tap into like your competitive side on things. You know. And it's always like you throw a bad party, like you have to want to come back and not let that be the last thing.
That's
people
a tip, all right, party
remember.
people. For
sure. It really is a competition. Life is a competition at the end of the day, and it's like and until you embrace it and you
gotta psych yourself up.
Yeah, psych yourself up and be like, I'm gonna go get this. Like, and if not, then you're screwed,
the wrong
man.
business.
You're screwed. I mean, no, you're screwed.
Hey, what would you say is one of the biggest benefits you get as a nightclub promoter or owner? Either one.
Benefits
in general, in this line of business. What is one of those good benefits you get? And in some jobs you get dental.
You get what?
Dental.
Life insurance even. You don't get that shit here.
Yeah.
No, but in general, like this is a business that is different.
Yeah, of course.
And a lot of people only see the bad. A lot of people think
You don't get dental, but you get
and
French
a lot
fries.
of people think there's a lot of drugs in this. Thank God I don't see them in mine.
Yeah.
And, it all depends on your business, on what you allow or not. But there's so many good things, like work-life balance. In my case, it's always been a great thing. You know what I mean? For not saying all the savings I've had just going out.
I'm not going to talk about my benefits.
I was doing numbers, actually, matter of fact, and I'm going to blog about it. I was doing numbers, and I have already saved $1 million.
$1 million?
Just on the money I've saved on the
drinks.
Complimentary drinks and bottles and food that I've had.
Did the math.
And I did the math. So, if that's nothing, believe me, that's just little perks. besides the money we've made?
Nah, I think I would say the biggest benefit is I don't have to be somewhere at 9 a.m. with a suit and tie on.
Which is a big thing, honestly.
Yeah,
I mean, that's how I that's how
I roll.
No, not that. But it's how I measure success.
Oh,
because if you ask me, am I the wealthiest guy right now? No, I'm not. Like I'm in the game. Like you know what I mean? I'm in the game.
Right.
And I'm playing it. But you have to figure out how you define success. Is success just based on your bank account?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, because if that's the case, then
Or
I'm not
savings.
successful.
Right.
But then you're here doing an interview with me about this bar I'm doing. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Bar you
So
own.
it's not success can't be on financial terms. We live in such a instant gratification society with social media and everything. Everybody wants to be like put on right away. Everybody wants it all right away. So yeah, I mean, success for me has been my entire 20s, waking up every morning and doing whatever I want to do.
Exactly.
Nice.
That's success for me.
That is what.
Where are
there
your
you
partners right now? Are they all working?
We how we do our closing schedule is one of us is here, and then 1 on, 2 off, and then we rotate like that.
Okay.
So they're out already right now. We did our daytime grind and they're off. Yeah. It's still
You know how many people wish to call this work?
Yeah, right.
Just having to,
Hang out. Well,
Oh man,
it's not all beautiful, but most of it
I'm
is.
sure you get your good days and some bad days that you just don't want to hear music.
Of course. So another some good advice. Some of the best advice I ever got was I walked on and played college football at UCF, and it was my first day, and it was after practice, and it was like, man, everybody's big and fast, and it's not high school.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm coming off the field, and I grabbed the wide receiver coach at the time, and I said, hey, coach, man, you got any advice? Like, just general. I was looking for general advice, just to help me get through like these practices. And he didn't even hesitate. He's like, yeah, I got something for you. He says, you're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days, just like everybody else. It's like anybody can react good to a good day, right? How hard is that? It's how you react to the bad days that are gonna define who you are and what you do here. And I'll never ever forget that. And it was way bigger than football. Way bigger than football, and way bigger that day on the football field. And it's something I'll always, if I'm having just one of those days, bad days, like I'll zen in and I'll say good days and bad days. Like,
shout outs to that coach.
How are you gonna handle the bad days?
Right.
And that's the kind of stuff,
What's
man.
the name of that coach?
Coach Tim Salem. I think he's at the University of Pittsburgh right now.
Hey, with that said, I think we can close this interview with that. Do not take your football coach for granted, for sure.
Yeah.
But guys, hey, this was
it
was an amazing
a lot of tips, a lot of
tips,
inspiration.
A great inspirational story, motivational. For sure.
Come out here to the black
another
market.
one of those, I don't want to say rags to riches, for sure, but definitely from bottom up, from, from going from another city, just saying, I want to do this.
Hey, spiritually also rich.
Yeah,
Exactly. Definitely opening up to joining forces with different people that he didn't even know.
Don't be afraid. Follow the
Probably be
signs.
interviewing your partners.
sure.
One of these days, they love you so much.
Stay away from First Street.
You love them.
Stay away from First Street because they got this locked down, all right?
So guys, remember the Black Market here in
Red
downtown
Rabbit Presents.
Miami. Red Rabbit Presents. You got to follow them on their Instagram, which is
Red Rabbit Miami.
and Black Market is.
Black Market MIA.
There you go. And
Follow us at Ico Taps Beer and at Doral Food and Wine Festival.
And you find me at the Nightlife Entrepreneur and at LMG Miami. Remember, the book on Amazon and go to our website, nightlife-entrepreneurs.com/podcast. Find us on iTunes, Automatic, on Spotify, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, blah,
Soon
blah,
on
blah, blah, blah.
Netflix.
See you next week.
See you next week.